might not be able to imagine, but talking to a professional here, life does get better. If we tackle these issues, I can assure you they will not stay the same. The only way they stay the same, and Carlos already said it earlier, is if you do nothing.
Yeah.
Only if you do nothing will you stay in the same position with the same circumstances. Right? And we do not want that. We don't support that.
Definitely. I personally resonate with that myself, and I think it's so important for a lot of our communities to understand the value of those of really embracing those uncomfortable feelings. So when they do show up later on, we can handle them better. That's the whole point.
Yes,
Like
sir.
really, we embracing the uncomfortable as 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 tough as it might be at the beginning, it really does help you become a stronger person. And
Yes.
sometimes it is scary, but bravery is doing something scared. You are brave, but maybe like the general population or society might not like, oh, label you meditated and cried through those feelings. Oh my God, how's that brave? That is brave. That is truly what brave is. The fact that you
Mm-hmm.
sat through that, the fact that you worked through that, that is what bravery is all about. And just by you giving yourself that time to deal with those feelings, to feel those uncomfortable emotions, to feel that trauma, it shows how brave you are. And once you do it one time, then remind yourself
Mm-hmm.
that you can remind yourself of this one simple sentence: I can do hard things. Like, wow,
Yes.
I did something hard. I can do
Powerful.
hard things. Yeah, that's it.
Powerful. Powerful.
There you
You're
go. It's
absolutely right, man. Absolutely
I
right.
appreciate, I appreciate you. But thank you so much for everyone that jumped on this call. I love how interactive it was and how everyone was also vulnerable with us, sharing some of your
Yeah.
experiences and stuff that you're
Thank you for
dealing with.
that.
This is the reason we're doing this. This is all about community, about being there for each other, supporting each other, using our own experiences and our own knowledge to really help each other deal with uncomfortable situations and do it in a way that we're not reactive but responsive, and like we're responding to the situations better. We can do better, and it all really starts with us. So thank you
Yeah.
for anyone that jumped on this live, and thank you for anyone watching the recording of this. Because just by doing this and listening to his conversations, I can assure you, at least for me, 2 years ago, this would have made me uncomfortable. So just listening and really exposing yourself to this kinds of conversations,
Mm-hmm.
it's really you choosing you, and embracing that uncomfortability, and really loving yourself for this hour that this call was. And that's how it starts. You can do hard things. You might actually even get distracted through this. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go do something else. If you brought yourself back and you kept watching it, and that's really you doing something hard,
Yeah.
because the brain wants you to be comfortable. Like think of the Matrix. Like the brain wants, if it was up to if it was up to the brain, you have a VR attached to your eyes, a tube going down your throat, like literally a reproductive machine attached to you, and you'll be on the couch doing nothing. That's what it wants. It wants comfortability. But
Yeah.
being comfortable is not going to help you grow. It's not going to help you become a better version of yourself. It's not going to help you reach a lot of the milestones that you most likely wanting to reach. So embrace that uncomfortability. Find the beauty within it, and understand that we get to do this work. We don't have to do it. You don't.
Correct.
Like I said, you can give y'all and like literally eat like whatever you want to eat or whatever, but by being uncomfortable and putting yourself in those uncomfortable situations, I know I'm a really big rap lover, and I know Big Sean says like I put myself against the wall. Like he like really just
Facts.
put yourself literally like against the wall. Put yourself in those uncomfortable situations so that when something unexpected happens, like RJ said, you have the emotional capacity and ability to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. No,
Yeah,
I agree, man. I think that was well said. You've got to give yourself the space to sit in those feelings. You got to be willing to sit in that discomfort. I can assure you, it gets better. It gets better. for anybody who's like in the middle of that and you're not sure and you're afraid or you're avoiding, it gets better. But you gotta be willing to do the work. You have to give yourself the space. Nobody deserves it more than you.
Yeah.
Nobody. So because we have to prioritize ourselves number one. Right? That's how we stay well. I gotta be number one. To myself. Doesn't mean I don't care about other people. It just means I gotta be number one to me, so I'm well. So that means I will give myself that space. I will sit in that discomfort. I will go through these processes, and we're trying to outline them in these different calls. I'm gonna try to bring this in as we continue on, but like there's steps. This is very intentional. What Carlos and I are talking about. There's actually a methodology and an order to this. These aren't just random topics that are coming up right now. There's a reason why we're doing them in the order that we're doing them, I can assure you. So please understand that if you are watching that, you're giving the attention. So now we need to get from attention, let's go start shifting over to action. Let's start giving ourselves that space to say, I'm going to start putting in the effort. I'm going to give myself this time here. I'm going to make sure I'm addressing this thing. Because if I do, I don't have to be where I'm at today. Today can truly stay right where it is. Tomorrow can be better than today, and then the next day can be better than that. If I'm willing to start putting in the work now.
Beautifully said, King. Beautiful said. And honestly, like I'm currently working on getting all of this on YouTube as well and creating a playlist so you can literally go step by step and listen to every call. And like sometimes listening to something a second time teaches something new because it's a new you that's actually listening to it. It's actually, you'll discover something new about yourself. You actually might listen to something that you missed the first time that might help you. So definitely, if you were live in the past and on past calls, like I highly recommend going back to a couple other calls and looking through and saying, hey, let me listen to this again. Because you might, you most likely will learn something new every time. We try to really use different examples and different verbiage and like give you different tools so that you can have that diversity, so you can play around a little bit and figure out what works best for you. Because what I work for RJ might not work for me, and the same thing vice versa, and the same thing for you. That's why we give you multiple different tools that you can use. That's why we give you multiple different stories so you can connect with us and connect to what we're saying in a different way.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, and I like that you said that. I mean, I think we're trying to put this out in many different places so people can see it. And because exposure is very important. Again, shout out to all of you that are here because you chose to expose yourself to this today, and that's awesome. Because hopefully you're getting a certain amount of encouragement from this. This may give you a little spark of motivation. I hope that it feeds you. I hope it nourishes you to want to do more, to want to prioritize yourself. Like that to me is always an important aspect of anybody's journey, right? Because again, life is not static. It's not a straight line. We know we're going to do all of this, riding these waves, right? So we have to build up that sense of resiliency. And it's the only way we're going to be able to do that is we've got to sit through the discomfort.
And honestly, if you go back to the first episode, we talked about how even doing this live is uncomfortable for us. But this is our way to pour into you, so that you can see the value in pouring into yourself. So
yes, very important.
Pour into yourself. Please pour into yourself.
Yes,
you're making the world a better place.
Yes, no. If we take anything from this, it's like we need to get to our. I always say we got to get to ourselves first. There's nothing wrong with doing that. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Then it'll be easier to navigate all these other different things that we have to deal with. So please, if you've taken anything away from any of these calls, give yourself that space to work through those things. And you are worth that. You're at least worth that much. I don't care what anybody says. You're at least worth that much to put in that effort. And just, you may not be able to imagine, but talking to a professional here, life does get better. If we tackle these issues, I can assure you they will not stay the same. The only way they stay the same, and Carlos already said it earlier, is if you do nothing.
Yeah.
Only if you do nothing will you stay in the same position with the same circumstances. Right? And we do not want that. We don't support that.
Let's stop living on autopilot. Let's live an intentional life, guys. Like we have that choice. We can't continue to live on autopilot, but then you're gonna get to you're basically gonna reach a destination that does not create it for you. So why not live an intentional life and create the life that you want to live? We do have that power, and we do have, and we are able to, and we are blessed to have that choice.